On August 3, 1975, in Montello, New York, Dr. Robert Stevens dropped his wife, Florence, off at her doctor's appointment, promising to return in an hour. He had no idea that this would be the last time he saw her. Florence never came out of the office. She vanished without a trace, leaving behind a bewildered husband and a mystery that would confound investigators for more than 40 years. Florence Stevens was a vibrant and adventurous 36-year-old woman, full of life and always ready for new experiences. She worked at the Catskill Mountains Resort, a bustling place that attracted visitors from far and wide. Despite her vivacious nature, Florence wasn't immune to life's mundane troubles. On that fateful August evening, she was battling the flu. Her husband Robert decided to take her to the doctor to ensure she received proper care. The couple lived a modest life in the Catskills, surrounded by the serene beauty of the mountains and the comforting routine of small-town life. Robert dropped her off at the doctor's office and waited patiently for her return. Hours turned into an eternity as he anxiously awaited her emergence. As the evening wore on, a gnawing sense of dread took hold of him. Florence was nowhere to be seen. Desperation set in as he retraced his steps, visited the clinic, and scoured the surrounding area. But Florence had vanished without a trace, leaving Robert bewildered and heartbroken. The initial search for Florence was exhaustive. Detectives from the Sullivan County Sheriff's Office launched a massive investigation, scouring every inch of Montello and the surrounding areas. They questioned everyone who had seen Florence that day and reviewed any surveillance footage available. Despite their efforts, the investigation hit a wall. There were no witnesses, no signs of foul play, and no clues to indicate what had happened to Florence. Her case eventually went cold, relegated to a forgotten file in the archives of the sheriff's office. For years, Florence's disappearance remained a mystery. Robert was left to grapple with the anguish of not knowing what had happened to his beloved wife. He held on to the hope that she might return someday, clinging to the memories of their life together. But as time passed, that hope dwindled, replaced by a deep sense of loss and resignation. The world moved on, but for Robert, life would never be the same. Decades later, in 2017, the case took an unexpected turn. Senior investigator Jan Solomon of the New York State Police stumbled upon skeletal remains near the Catskill Mountains Resort. It was a routine discovery, part of an unrelated investigation. However, something about the location and the timing of the remains sparked curiosity in Solomon. He decided to dig deeper, driven by a gut feeling that these remains might hold the key to an old mystery. Solomon's investigation led him to reopen Florence's case. He knew it was a long shot, but he couldn't shake the feeling that there was a connection. Identifying the remains would be a Herculean task, given the thousands of missing persons cases across the United States. Solomon and his team methodically sifted through records, comparing missing persons reports to the skeletal remains. After months of research, they discovered something shocking. Someone had been using Florence's social security number in Massachusetts. This clue led Solomon to an assisted living facility north of Boston, where a woman named Flora Harris had been residing since 2001. The discovery was both shocking and confusing. Could Flora Harris be the missing Florence Stevens? Solomon needed answers, so he reached out to Detective Rich Morgan from the Sullivan County Sheriff's Office. Armed with an old work ID photo of Florence, Morgan traveled to the facility, determined to solve the mystery. When Morgan and another investigator met Flora, they showed her the photo. To their astonishment, Flora immediately recognized herself. She pointed to the picture and said, "That's me." She also identified her husband's picture despite suffering from dementia. The mystery of Florence Stevens' disappearance had finally been solved. Flora Stevens and Flora Harris were indeed the same person. The realization sent shockwaves through the investigative team and the community alike. However, the reasons behind Florence's disappearance remained elusive. Flora's dementia made it impossible to glean any details about the missing years. The detectives could only piece together fragments from her memories, but the complete story of her vanishing act remained locked away, leaving everyone to wonder about the life she left behind and the secrets she carried. The facility staff recalled Flora mentioning that she had come from a bad marriage and that her husband had been abusive. This revelation added a layer of complexity to the mystery. Was Florence escaping a troubled life? Did she disappear intentionally to start anew? These questions lingered, but without a coherent account from Flora, the truth remained out of reach. Despite the lack of concrete answers, the case was officially closed. Sheriff Mike Schiff acknowledged the rarity of solving a decades-old missing persons case, noting that Florence's story was a testament to the persistence and dedication of the investigators. The resolution brought closure to a case that had haunted the community for years, even if it left many questions unanswered. The story of Florence Stevens, or Flora Harris, became a poignant reminder of the complexities of human lives and the mysteries that often remain hidden beneath the surface. Her disappearance, though cloaked in uncertainty, underscored the resilience of those who relentlessly pursue the truth, regardless of how long it takes. Over the years, the tale of the missing woman who was eventually found grew into a legend in the Catskills, symbolizing the enduring power of hope and the relentless quest for justice. Ultimately, Florence's story is not merely about a woman who went missing. It's a narrative about the passage of time, the persistence of memory, and the quest for answers in a world fraught with uncertainties. It serves as a reminder that even in the darkest moments, there is always a glimmer of hope, and sometimes, just sometimes, the answers we seek are waiting to be discovered in the most unexpected places.